you know what? We just keep talking technology. And I love topics like this.
Yeah, this is very interesting book that the people have there. I've never looked at technology in that way, so it's going to be a very
Yeah,
interesting discussion.
absolutely. Our guest is Alan Batteau, the author of Tools, Totems, Totalities, the modern construction of Hegemonic. How are you, sir? And thanks for stopping by. And it's interesting, Alan, when we were talking about starting out the conversation, is basically how I was talking about creating anything I want with AI. And that opens up a lot of can of worms, right, in technology these days, isn't it?
Well, let me give you a thought about AI, because one view of AI is it stands for artificial ignorance. The philosophers have said nothing is freer than the human mind, but if we limit our thinking to what can be put in a machine, we're ignoring much else out there. So AI, for solving certain kinds of problems, AI is wonderful, but for writing poetry is terrible.
Well, I agree with you unless you put the best poetry in there and tell them to maybe edit it a little bit or make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, that I'll agree with that. Agree with that point. But when you define technology, Alan, how would you define technology?
Okay, that's an excellent question. Uh, the concept of technology has been with us only a couple of hundred years. Uh, Humans, of course, have been using tools for thousands of years,
Yep.
but the first the first widespread usage of the term technology was Jacob Bigelow's Principles of Technology, published in 1829, almost 200 years ago, at the outset of the Industrial Revolution. Before this, techne, craft skill, and logos were separate callings. Okay. Uh, Techne was the province of illiterate craftsmen, whereas logos was the uh, authority of the written word, and used more by priests and scholars. Okay, so what Bill, Bill, excuse me, what Bill, excuse me a second,
Hmm.
what Bill Bigelow did was bring these two together and created both new practicalities for the written word, but also new possibilities for invention of technique.
Yeah, and that's key. That what was happening. Go ahead, Frank, with your question.
That was interesting. I was many years ago. I was doing a presentation uh, to a group of teachers, instructors. They're talking about the future of technology, and one of the professors says, "Well, can you define technology? What's the definition of technology?" I said, "Well, everything that's created after you were born." It's not, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I like to know a little bit more about it says that you people really kind of dissected the technology and what the benefits were and versus uh, the end results that weren't benefits. So can you give us an example? What put my ears up was the wording about one of them was a border wall. And that was very interesting. I'd like to know why you think a border wall fits into your analysis as with technology, expecting one thing and getting another.
Perfect question. Uh, I have written that the border wall is a Maginot Line. Uh, you remember the Maginot Line, which
Yeah.
separates Belgium from France, and the Germans simply went around it. Okay, and most illegal immigrants in the United States have simply overstayed their visas. They don't go across the board. They just come here and they enter legally. Okay, so a border wall is not going to do anything about that issue. Okay, the issue of immigration and illegal immigration is really a complex issue, and it's kind of devolved into kind of culture wars that we like to fight, but the border wall is not going to solve the problem. It's kind of simply a monument to here's how great we are.
Oh, you think it failed to keep
Yes,
people out?
yes. Okay, because if you overstay your visa, the border wall is not going to keep you out.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's absolutely true, but how many people are going to be overstaying their visa if we're more organized?
Well, okay. See, you put your finger on the issue. If we are more organized, in other words, that's not a technological solution. That's a political and social solution. And really, we need to, here in the United States, become more organized, become more conversant about the whole issue of immigration.
Yeah. When I think about, and Paul, do you have a question? And I'm going to just jump into more of this technology thought process on AI because this is going to be hot button
Yeah,
as anything.
I,
But go, Paul.
I actually do. Hi, Alan. I'm actually a retired IBM, so I'm very interested in this question. Does a technology have to be profitable to be enveloped into our society? Sort of thing. Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
yeah, okay. I understand your question. And the kind of economy, see, that's not a technological question, that's a social question. The kind of economy that we have today dictates that things should be profitable to be long lasting. But just two weeks, is the military profitable? No, obviously. Okay. Is the our uh, is the federal government profitable? No. Okay. Point being that these social arrangements are not profitable, but they are closely tied to the technology and the technological environment we have today.
Okay. And so you think technology does not have to be profitable then?
Uh, Many technologies are not profitable.
Can you list a couple of them for me?
Okay, military technology. Okay, the atom bomb. Okay, here's just the atom bomb was the great technological achievement of the first half of the 20th century. Okay, and it was an incredible breakthrough, but we haven't used it because we figure that this is really more destructive. Okay, so it's more kind of part of the arms race and the confrontation with our enemies, both actual and perceived, rather than any industry that is going to build a prosperous future.
Okay. All right. Frank, your thoughts.
Let's get back to AI, because as Neil and Paul know, AI, true artificial intelligence, true intelligence has to incorporate emotions because emotions do color people's reaction. Okay. And I haven't seen anything so far from AI where it acts emotionally. We actually tried to challenge it one time on our show by calling it not calling it names, but they're trying to get a negative response out of it, and it wouldn't give it. Right, so I'm still waiting to see an emotional response to AI, like a human being. Okay, but I haven't seen that yet. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think AI someday will give you an emotional response and not just an intellectual one?
Well, I can imagine programming something like that, but I cannot imagine AI having the full range of human emotions. Okay. Uh, just are you going to fall in love with a bot?
Fall in love with a thought?
A bot.
Oh, a bot? No, no. Oh,
That's happening, by the way, but no, the answer is a robot, maybe potentially what people are developing, but you're right.
Okay. And can basically the people, choosing my words carefully, the people in your life that mean something to you, you want them to be real people, not bots.
Right. Okay. All right. So it makes you think. What do you? So your thoughts on AI? When do you see singularity happening, Alan?
Can you clarify the question a little bit?
When do you see singularity that we'll be able to have conversations with AI and back and forth conversation, and they'll be able to think as well as we think?
I don't think it'll quite ever happen. Okay, because humans, live breathing Homo sapiens, are kind of the most creative things in the world. Okay, and yes, we have AI which can process all kinds of information, but the uh, singularity of kind of humans being replaced by bots and AI is not going to happen. Okay, because we meaning you and me, humans, are always more creative than machines.
And that's so that will be a debate for another time in another place because I believe it will be singularity in about 5 years. Some people are saying earlier than that. And a lot of people are banking on this, and it'll be with Neuralink and putting it in your brain. There'll be humans and robotics at the same time with intelligence, where a lot of humans will have AI in their brains in some sort of way. So there really won't be a singularity. There'll be better technology, Neuralink and things like that, in that nature moving forward. So I agree with you in the fact of creativity. No one's going to stop someone's creativity. AI can't. But singularity, that could be for another conversation. Alan, I want you to just kind of, for our listeners and viewers out there, kind of give us why we should buy your book. Can you give us that?
Uh, Basically, I want people. Oh, okay. Let me just say, I had a career as an engineer. I worked in systems engineering for a long time. I had contracts both with the military and with the private sector, and we did systems engineering. So I have some firsthand knowledge of the whole technological world. Okay, and what the reason to answer your question is I think we need to have a more critical, choose my words carefully, we need to have a more critical perspective on technology so that we understand what it can what's limit opportunities are and what its limitations are. Okay. That developing a critical perspective on technology is really very important today because we have this love affair with technology. I'm choosing my words carefully. We have this love affair with technology, okay, and we expect it to solve all sorts of problems, often problems that are beyond technology.
Yeah. All right. Now, please give us a summary of why we should buy your book.
Okay, to really understand in a larger perspective what the opportunities and limitations of technology are. Let me just kind of go through my title Tools, totems, and totalities. Tools, obviously, humans have been using tools for millions of years. Totems are signifiers of identity, okay? And totalities are world-defining systems. And until we really have a critical perspective on technology, we are often in denial about its negatives. Its negatives, including new ways of killing millions of people, new tribalism, a breakdown in society. Just kind of one illustration. There's been a lot of commentary on how the culture wars and the tribalism of our society are increasing. Okay, and if you do a little bit of research, you find out that this is kind of contemporaneous with the growth of the internet. The internet, which was supposed to bring society together, really is breaking us apart. And the internet is, I would argue, and I could go into some academic detail on this, the internet is fracturing our society.
Okay. Well, and so I think that people need to definitely check out your book. It's available on Amazon and all finer bookstores. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
All right. We appreciate it, sir. Thanks again.